this is the resources file. You must have it right now. And then here's what's going to happen in this talk. We're going to follow a what, how, DIY, and fix mode. It's WHDF methodology throughout the workshop. So we're going to show you what we're going to be doing, and then we're going to tell you how to build it, and then you're going to build it, we'll fix it, and then we'll reiterate, okay? So we'll show you, you'll do it, and then we'll reiterate. This is basically what we're going to do. So why Bootstrap? What's Bootstrap? So Bootstrap is it's a collection of CSS and JavaScript files put together for us to reuse. So that's the whole thing. It's made by Twitter. It's a beautiful collection. You can make use of all of these things. Okay? They have also some fonts included in them. Okay? We'll work around their page so we can like use stuff in case we get lost. If I'm not with you, like, or if you want to explore on your own, you need to know the resources. So this is getbootstrap.com would be the website. Okay? And then, what's that? Is it? Getbootstrap.com. Okay? That's weird. Okay, so basically, they have a CSS tab up there. I don't know if you guys can see it. You can open it up on your pages. And then there's components, and there's JavaScript. We'll mostly focus on CSS and components today. I'll show you a few CSS classes that you can make use of. And then we'll check a few components that we can use. CSS down here, they have like, we'll get into that. Bootstrap is basically designed for mobile first. So they start with mobile, and then things start growing as you, they expand as you expand your screen. I'll show you like how things change. Like if you change the screen size here, you see it like reorganizes itself in a way that's like still legible. Not too legible here, but kind of legible on your computer, okay? So yeah, this is one of the other benefits of Bootstrap. Okay. So again, we have here the CSS file, the CSS section. Okay? And then the components here. So like when I tell you like look up this component, you know where to find it. It's on Get Bootstrap, and then you go to components. Okay? All right. So now we're going to get started with the grid system. What's a grid system? Why do we need the grid system of Bootstrap? And basically, when you're designing with pixels, it's really hard. And screens change sizes all the time. Like if you're viewing like a website on different sizes, it's really hard. And so basically, if you want to design something that looks really well on different sizes, it would take quite a bit of time to design it yourself. Okay? So Bootstrap has a grid system that works using a container, and then inside the container you have a row and multiple rows. We'll see it in a bit. And then inside the rows you have columns. It has 12 columns in total. So we'll start with the grids. Oh, here it is. So this is Bootstrap grid system. This is a container. The thing in red, the red rectangle is a container. So it also has a class container, which is a CSS class. Okay? Everything in the middle here, like the blue rectangle is a row. And so is all the other rows down here. Okay? So these are rows. Inside the row there's like 12 columns, but we can like get like a column to span over multiple columns. Like here we have a div that spans over 6 columns. Okay? And here too. Here we have like a div that spans over 3 columns. Okay? So let me show you what we're going to try to accomplish today. So this is a quick page that I built. Okay? There's a nav bar out here. There's like a few links to Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And then here there's like a large div. It's called a Jumbotron. It's a component. So we have here like 3 cells. This is a container. The whole thing here is a container. And then here we have a row. Okay, this is one row. and here we have 3 columns, and here we have 9, okay? Just to fit 12. Down here I have another row, okay? And then here I have, I think it's about 8 columns, and this is 4, or probably 9 and 3, okay? So we'll start by designing like the layout, and then we'll start going into detail into every single part of a page, okay? So I'll be coding live here, and again, like you guys, those among you who don't have a link to the resources, please get it, because like you'll need to be copying, you know, some code here, all right? So this link out here, again, please do it quickly. Copy it quickly if you need it. http bit.do/bwagon2014r. This is the resources file. You guys need it right away. You're going to be copying code from this page, so you need it. bit.do/bwagon2014r. Resources. R for resources. All right, we're moving forward. All right, so here we have the link to the style sheets, okay? We have links to JavaScript, we have jQuery here, Font Awesome, and all the other stuff. And then there's like a little template for you to copy so we can get started. It's an empty template. It only has hello world. So please copy the template into your text editor. Okay? Copy this into your text editor. I'm going to start coding here. Okay? Okay, I have my template here. Are you guys ready? Who's ready? Okay? All right, so what we said, we're going to start building the layout. We're going to start with the overall layout of a page, and then we're going to start building like what's inside, okay? So we're going to get rid of hello world, and then we're going to build a nav, okay? Nav. It's empty right now. Just keep it empty. What's a nav? Who knows what's a nav?
Navigation relation block.
Well, why am I using nav, not a div and whatsoever?
It's HTML5 tag.
Yeah, it's an HTML5 tag. It's just a div, which is a block, okay? It's the only reason we have this HTML tag is like, you know, for, not the only reason. For more readability, we use more semantically clear tags, okay? So in a nav, it's a div. We know it's a div, but it's clearer to use a nav, okay? And then the search engines can optimize using this. They know like this is a nav, okay? It's not a div, just a div, okay? This is one reason why we have a nav. Okay, what else? So I have a nav, I have a container and a jumbotron. So there's a jumbotron here. Let me just do a div. Let's not do any, let me give it class equals jumbotron. Okay, and then there's a row inside of it. I'll not do the row right now. Okay, and then underneath, let's use this one. And then underneath, there's another container as well. It's just a div. Okay, so div. Okay, so we have a nav, a div, and a div, right? Are we all clear on that? So we have a nav, the nav bar, which is here, the nav bar. We have a div, and then another div underneath. Now we're going to start splitting the divs into columns, okay? So I'll leave the nav bar for now. Let me just give it the style to make sure it appears. So let's do, oops. Okay, I want to give it, I'm going to put it up top, so I'm going to tell it nav bar. Let's do static. I'll tell you the difference between static and fixed in a moment. Static, top. Okay, what else? And also the color. I want it black, so I want nav bar inverse. Oops. Okay, let's start viewing the changes here. Okay, what do you say? It's demo. Okay, so we have a nav bar. All right, guys. This is the code. If I'm moving too fast, let me know. So this is the code here. We have a navbar. The classes are navbar static top, and navbar inverse. Okay? Twitter Bootstrap uses naming that's very like each other. So when you use something that's for a navbar, they use navbar. So if you want to change the color to inverse, it's navbar dash inverse. When you want to put it up top, you use navbar static top. So it's static up top. If you want to put it in the bottom, it's navbar static bottom. It's very simple class naming. Okay? So if you get used to this, it'll be much easier for you to know what's happening. Okay? So, okay, so we just did a nav, a jumbotron, and just an empty div. Okay? Let's get back to the steps here, because like I want to tell you. So a navbar is not a nav. I want to tell you what's a nav. We're going to start with the navs right now. Okay? In the components, they show you the navs here. Oops, I can't see it here. Let's see if we... Okay, this is the navs. So navs can be anything that looks like a navigation. It could be a tab bar. Okay, this is a nav. It could be pills. Do you see the pills out here? Okay? Or it can be like stacked, like pills and stacked. Are you guys following? Yeah? All right. So they share the same base class in terms of they have the same class in CSS, and then they extend upon it. So anytime you want to use nav tabs, for example, you use nav and nav tabs. So this is the class out here. Can you see it, or is it's too small? Let me just... Okay. So these are, okay, is it legible? So these are the pills out here. Okay? They have a class of nav and nav pills. Nav dash pills. Okay? If you want to have tabs, you do nav dash tabs. Okay? Simple, huh? All right, so let's get back to code. And here I don't have, this is just a div out here, so I need a nav inside of it. We'll get back to it in a second. It's not a nav bar. So here, this is the nav bar that we just created. It's right here. This is the nav bar. Okay? Okay. So let's start adding the brand. You know, the brand up top in the nav bar, like this. This is the brand. Okay? And this is a nav actually here. Do you see these? Let me just increase the size. Guys, this is a nav. And this is a nav. Why? Because it shares all the properties that we want from a nav class. Okay? So it's a list. It has like many components. They appear like linearly or stacked. So we do a nav here and a nav here. So you don't have to use a UL and then put the list and then remove the styling for the list and then like put them stacked and do inline block and then account for Internet Explorer or do whatever. So it takes quite a bit of time. So nav does all of this for you. This is why it's important. This is why I'm talking about it this much. Okay? You can also use list style none, but like in the nav bar you can use this, which is okay? All right, so I'm going to create a nav, an actual nav inside here, which is a div, and then the class is a nav. And it's also a nav bar nav. It's not a nav and a pills. It's a nav, yeah, it's a nav bar nav. Okay? Do you guys have this? Okay. Actually, let me put it in a UL directly. So what I'm trying to do here, here's a list, and there's a link in it. And then I'm just going to say home. Are you guys copying? So we created the UL, which is an unordered list. Are you guys familiar with basic HTML and CSS? Okay, I don't want to dwell too long on these. Okay, and then there's about, and there's Okay. Let's see. So this is what I just created. This is the nav that I created right now. Do you want the code? So do another nav on your own. I want you to do another nav. So this is one nav. It's a UL class. And then just do another one in the nav bar. It's in the nav up here. I probably should have named it as a div because like it's confusing to say nav here. Let me just rename it as a div for now. Okay, it doesn't change anything. Okay, just do another nav on the right. We'll put it on the right, but just do another nav that contains a Twitter, a Facebook, and LinkedIn links. Okay. Now we have a nav that has this: home, about, and contact. This is the code for it. Do you guys see it? Who has the code right now? Okay, just make sure you have this code and another nav, which is a class nav. Do you see it right here? Do you see my cursor? Okay, just do another nav, which is another one of these. Okay? And put contact, put Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn into it. Okay, I'll start making one. Yeah. Nav, navbar, nav. Yeah. So nav is the main class, and navbar nav has other extra properties on top of a nav class, okay? It adds more spacing between them. It shows them as whatever. It changes the links here, okay? Actually, oops. Let me do Twitter. Okay. Facebook. Okay. All right, let's see what we have right now. So there's like all these things like right next to each other. Okay, we're going to put the right one, the right nav on the right. Okay? We're going to put the right nav on the right. Okay? Let's just put it on the right. Okay, let's do navbar, right. That should do it basically. Oh, it has it on the right. Okay? So this is the class here, navbar right. Okay? I don't like that they're attached to the sides. So as we said, we're going to put them in a container. The container is going to make sure that depending on the screen size, okay, it's going to be centered in the middle, and then as you shrink the page, you're going to have a new size for the container. Okay, so let me show you what a container. Let's move out of the bar right now. Let's do a jumbotron and add a container. Let's add a container. Okay. So we added the container here. Do you guys see the container? We have, it's not apparent here. Because like, it's like here. Oops, where's the container? Let me just add a border for it. So this is the container. Okay? If you change the size of a page, the container changes with it. Okay? Are you guys clear on that? And now if you want to use columns, we need to have a row inside a container. It's a must. Okay? If I want to split this into columns, I have to have a row inside the container. Okay, so let's add a row here. Div class equals row. And then div class equals call. What does this mean? So I created the row inside the container, okay? Are we lost? Who's lost? Okay, so a row, this is a container. A container is just a blank div that changes sizes as you change the size of the screen or device, okay? So as you can see, like here, it jumps size like right now, like it jumps size, okay? So this is a container. For us to be able to split the screen into columns, we need to have rows. So this is how Twitter Bootstrap works. Instead of us creating everything, they divide everything into rows and columns, okay? So inside the container, we're going to have a row, and then we're going to split the row. The row is like 12 cells. We're going to pick a certain number of cells depending on the size we want, okay? If you want 3 and 9, you use a row, and then a column that covers 3 cells and another column that covers 9 cells. This is what we're going to do right now. So here we have the container, and we have inside of it a row, and in the row I only have one div that has call XS3. What's XS? Who knows what? Yeah, what is it for?
For the mobile devices.
Okay. Right. So basically, Twitter Bootstrap works from small devices up to big devices. So if I use XS3, this is important, guys, you need to listen to it. If I use XS3, it means start with small devices, use 3 columns. And it's going to use the same dimensions for bigger screens. Because it starts with the smaller ones, bigger ones override the smaller ones. Okay? So if you have call MD4, when the size is medium, it's going to use 4 instead of 3. But I'm using XS3 because I want to use it on all devices. This is not too good because it's not going to be responsive right now. It's going to shrink. It's not good like this. But we're not going to worry about responsive design right now because it's too much. Like each one of you guys have a different background, and it's really hard to get you focused onto the responsive design right now. Okay? So let's see what we have. Let's put something in it. Oops, I didn't see. Okay, let me put another row, another column so you guys can see the difference, okay? Let's do 9. Okay? So here we have the hello in three cells, and another is going to be covering all these cells out here. Let's open up the grid again. Okay? Who's following up? Who's lost? Nobody's lost? Okay. So let's leave this like this right now. This is, we're going to do
The other 4 cells will be filled. The other 4 cells will be filled.
it's actually, yeah, let me put a background in here so you can see it, okay? Oops. Let's do... See? So this is the background for, is it appearing? Do you see the yellow? Okay, so the kind of yellowish background covers the whole div. Okay, so this is 9 and the first one is 3. Okay, very easy. Let me put it blue. Actually, red. Yeah. Okay? So this is 9 and the other is 3. Okay? Let's create more rows. Whoever's like going faster right now, just finish the layout for your page. Okay? So we need another row inside the other div, the one on the bottom. So here we're going to put the picture inside the hello instead of the hello. Picture goes here. And then here we're going to have a header. And then down there we want, so this is what we're trying to do, guys. Oops, this is too small. What happened here? Actually, it's zoomed in. This is what we're trying to do. Okay? We're trying to have a row, as we said, a row out here. Okay? Another row down here. Okay? And then here we're going to have a column spanning over 3, and then a column spanning over 9. In this row out here we have a column spanning over 9, I guess, and then another column spanning over 3. Okay? Finish up your layout. Let me just walk around and see what you guys have. Okay, so this is the page here.
One nav bar here, or two. This for icon and this for these for items. The right one.
Yeah, these are different items. Yeah, this is good. So it's UL navbar, navbar, navbar. Right. This is correct.
Okay. This is the class. This here. Why do we need two nav bars?
Okay, so because this is a nav. It's not a navbar. So I showed them, yeah, a nav is a base class for navbars, for pills. You see the pills? For tabs. So all of these behave the same. They all have like some that's active and something that's not. Okay? So the reason we use nav is because they all share these properties. So this is the CSS class, the nav. And then something that's specific to navbars. It's a navbar nav, so it goes inside the navbar, so it's a navbar nav. It's not a navbar, it's a navbar nav. It's a nav.
Yeah.
So
an item inside the bar.
It's a list of items inside the bar.
Okay.
Okay, so you can actually use it somewhere else. These have some properties. I'll show you the code in a little bit to see how it works. Okay.
Now we are going to add a container and a row.
You want to add a container in here, so it would go in the middle. Okay, and then inside the container you want to add a row, and then you start splitting it. Okay, you're almost caught up. That's good. You know what a jumbotron is? Who knows what a jumbotron is?
Background page to highlight the main information on the page.
Yeah, this is basically what it means. And a jumbotron basically is a class that does some grayish background. It adds some padding. That's all it is. Okay, it adds padding inside of it. It goes like. It spans over the page. It adds 30 pixel padding all around it, and then it has some background. Okay, that's the jumbotron. That's all there is to it. Okay? Yeah, let's add a picture. All of you guys add a picture. If you have it locally, try to upload it to Imageure. I have it in the resources. So if you go to, I'll tell you why, because like we're going to share our pages together with each other. Okay? We're going to share our pages, so we're going to upload them to CSS, what is it called? CSS deck. We're going to upload CSS deck, okay? So make sure you have your image uploaded to Imageure, and it's not served locally, so when we share the HTML, we're going to be able to see everything working correctly, okay? So upload your image to Imageure, and then add it in here. Just, we created the placeholder for it. Its picture goes here, okay? Just add a picture. Image. Okay, let me see where my, whatever. Okay? Do you guys have your pictures? Okay, if you add a class to it, image circle, img circle, it would create the circle. This is a Bootstrap class. Okay? Let's see. img circle would be the class that creates the circle effect. It would mask the image that you have. Okay? Guys, when you upload to Imageer, you can upload to Imageer here, guys. When you upload, just copy the link to the image, okay? And then put it in your where is it? Let's just put it in here. Let me just copy mine. What is it called? Actually, that must be result. Why do we specify the width and height for the image? The browser loads it. It would know, before it starts like rendering the picture, it would know how much space it takes. So it's much faster for the browser. If you specify this, it would be much faster for the browser, okay? Never let the browser resize the photos for you unless you have to, okay? It would be much slower. Guys, your images always should have an alt, okay? This is in the specification. You always need to have an alt. It works without it, but you should have an alt. Why? إذا ما لقيت image لا تبين وفي عالم بيكون مثلا ما حسب الديفايسز. Sometimes you use different devices. Okay? Sometimes I might use an SVG, for example, and your browser doesn't support this, or a PNG. Most modern browsers support all of these, but let's say like there's a very old browser that doesn't support certain images. It's good to have an alt, okay? So this is another good point. So we have the image with the Imageer. Let's create something in the header. Just do an H1. Okay, let me show you what I have. Okay, so the header is going here, and the image is here, okay? So instead of a header, just do an H1 here, just put something in there. Let's do Lebanese. Okay, I'll get rid of the background. Okay, I'll get rid of the blue. You know what a container is now. Yalla guys. Yeah, this is just an H1. Yalla. Okay. Who has the H1? يلا تحت خلينا نعمل button. Let's do a button right underneath the H1. Okay? So do a button. Do you guys see it? With the class equals btn. They always, the buttons share btn with each other. And then let's do btn success, which will give it the green color. Okay? Contact me. Do you guys have a button? Okay, it's too small. Shake? I don't like it. Let's do a btn large. وينه؟ LG. btn LG. So كلهم بيجوا prefix وبتحطوا من بعدها. It's very easy naming. Let me just move this لتشوفوها. Would it matter if I put btn LG after btn success or no? It would matter if the order inside the CSS was different. Okay? Not in here. If inside the CSS you have one before the other, the later one would take precedence. Okay? But here it's just classes. Okay? Yeah, let's see how it looks. Okay, it's larger, it's better. Okay? Let's put some text underneath it. Okay. Okay. Let's move down to the bottom row, like the div out here. Let's create a row inside of it. Let's create a container first, okay? We all know how to do it right now. Yalla, div inside of it, container. Container. And then inside the container, what do we want to have? A row? And inside the row, we want to have two columns. We said we want to have something like this. So we have a container, which is here in the middle. You guys focus? Okay. And then this is also a row inside the container. And inside the row, we're going to have two separate columns. One that spans over, let's say, 9, and one that spans over 3. Okay? All right, let's do this right now. So let's create the div class. Access 9. Div. 3. Okay. And then here. Technology. Okay, this is what we just created. We have here. This is like, when I zoom in, it's changing the layout, which is bad. So this is why I'm not zooming in too much. So I created a row here, a column that spans over 9 columns. Why are we saying spans over 9? Right, because like we said, there's 12 columns, right? And then when we're creating, it's one column that's spanning over 9 virtual columns. Okay, this is the size of a column. Basically what Twitter does, the Bootstrap, it sets a percentage of the global container size, row size, okay? So when you say call XS 9, it knows is 9 over 12 of the size of a container, okay? This is how it calculates it. Well, I'll show you the code right now. You'll see how it works, okay? Yalla, write something about yourself, just like here. You can write in H2 probably would be good. يلا guys بدنا بعد نعمل font awesome بعد شوي يلا. Guys, the question is, by default the Jumbotron هيك is the color is? Yes, this is the default color for the Jumbotron. If you're seeing the grayish bluish thing, yeah, this is the default color for the Jumbotron. حلو. Let's add a background picture, okay, for the whole thing to be like this. Do you see like we have a background picture out here? You see the background out here? It's not too apparent because like, yeah, there's a background behind it. Let me refresh. And it's changing every time. ولا خلص بلاها هيدا بعمل اشياء تانية أهم. Yeah, let's do something more important. Let's add the icons here. You see the icons? Do you like that? Yeah, let's do the icons. In the resources, grab a link to, this is actually Font Awesome, okay? So grab a link, grab the CSS for Font Awesome. So these little LinkedIn and Facebook graphics, these are like just fonts, okay? And Font Awesome creates them. Just grab the Font Awesome, okay? Put it in your header out here. Let's do, I don't have it. Let's copy it, okay? Okay, do you guys have Font Awesome right now? Okay, يلا let's replace Twitter وهودي هون بFont Awesome. Let's see how it does it. Okay, so what you do, you just insert any element. Let's do an I element. Okay, and then you give it a class equals FA. They all inherit from FA, and then let's do FA Twitter. They have a specific class called FA Twitter, which shows you the Twitter icon, okay? Let's save this and refresh it. So just do an item inside the A and just give it a class, FA, and then FA Twitter. They all inherit from each other, okay? They inherit from FA. Why? Why do we do this inheritance model in CSS?
So you don't write the code again twice. So you don't rewrite the code again twice.
Right, so you use a parent class that has like a lot of the code, just like they have in nav. So nav, you can have a nav pills or nav tabs or nav whatever or nav bar, okay? So you use a parent class so you don't have to rewrite the code for every class. You use the parent class and then you reuse, you add whatever you want to modify on top of it in another class. That's one thing. What's another possibility? Why do we do this as well? Who knows what a sprite is? Okay, so sprites are like you combine a lot of photos in one big picture and then you kind of like use a chunk of the image. Why do we do this?
So game making, for example, game making to produce animations.
This is one reason, but the main reason we use this in the web, why?
We load it once, the image.
So you load the image once. So instead of you loading multiple images, you load like one big image together, like which is a sprite, and then you use like different chunks of the image. So you say like move the background here, so use this part, use this part. So you issue just one request. And we usually do this for very small images. So the sprite altogether is like one not too big image, okay? But at the same time, like you're getting it in one request versus having like 200 requests for 200 small images, which take like a lot of time because the browsers generally limit the number of requests you issue. Okay, so they do about 4 at a time. It depends on the browser. This is very browser dependent. Okay, especially if it's from the same domain. So this is a problem. Okay, so yeah, and also I was saying like they share classes because like in sprites you have one class that refers to the sprite and then you have like another class which is like FA Twitter, but they didn't build it like this. But I'm saying if they built it like this, they're using fonts which is much faster than images. But let's say they build it like this, they can be FA Twitter would point to a certain position in the background. Okay, so this is another way of reusing classes. Okay, makes sense? Who sees the Twitter now? Do you have it, guys? Let's see if I have it. Well, I don't. Oh, I do. Here it is. All right, let's get rid of the Twitter word. And then just do the same thing for Facebook and LinkedIn. Who has them all? All right, you guys are fast. All right, let me get rid of them. Class equals FA, Facebook. All right, put a link to your stuff. Yalla, put a link to Facebook and Twitter and everything. You have them all? FA. Oops. All right. We have a problem with the navbar. We're going to start fixing it right now. We're going to put a brand, a header. طلعوا لبرا؟ يلا, I'm getting close. I'm not hearing you. I'm a little bit...
How do you fix the problem of margin?
يلا هلا. Yeah, this is what we're going to do right now. Yeah. Do we all have the font awesomes in there? All right. So we're going to start fixing the navbar, okay? So who's going to suggest a fix for the navbar? Why is it appearing like, why is it attached to the side? What can we do to put it in a container? Okay? Put it in a container. Yalla, let's put the navbar in a container. Where am I going to put it? I'm going to put it out here. Okay, started بالنص. Did you guys wrap it in a container? Sure. Yeah, let's add a header. Actually, let's do. Let's make the first home one. You see the first link, the home link. Let's make it active. Do it for the LI. You see where I'm doing this? The LI for the home, just give it a class active so it would appear as active. Okay? You guys have it active? Who has it active? Okay, good. You're moving fast. Yalla, let's add a brand. Okay, so I want the brand to be inside the container. We're starting to think differently. So I want the brand to be before here. I want it inside the container. Okay? So I want the brand just like here. Okay? So let's do this. Okay. So it's another div. The class has to be something like navbar header, I think. I'm not sure. Okay? Let's just, and then I'm going to put an A. No class, just href equals. Let's see if this does it. Okay, it's bad. All right, let's give it also brand. Okay, that worked. So it's in a navbar header, navbar brand. Because you can put other stuff in there, not just a brand, okay? Yalla, let's finish this so I can tell you the difference between navbar fixed and navbar static. You guys have it? So a header, the navbar header is the whole thing out here. The brand is inside of it. It's usually like a logo or something. So you can like have a header with, you can have something other than the brand in the header. Okay, this is how they named it. If you go to the resources here, you can check the source code for Twitter Bootstrap. See it? So in the resources file that I gave you guys, there's like the repository for the Bootstrap CSS. So if we open it up to see what's doing what, let's see. Let me just make it bigger and see if you guys can see. Okay. So let's see, if I want to see what a Jumbotron. So a Jumbotron does a 30 pixel padding and a 15 pixel padding, okay? And a margin bottom of 30 pixels, so it always has a margin bottom underneath it of 30 pixels. It inherits the color and it has a background color. So this is the background color why you have a Jumbotron like that, okay? So you were asking about the navbar header. So navbar header. Well, this is a little bit, okay, it does a display table, so it puts them one after the other. Let's see what else in there. It floats to the left, okay? So if you don't have it in navbar header, it doesn't float to the left, okay? It might be in the middle, okay? Even if it's a brand, the brand doesn't have, let's see what the brand does. Navbar brand. It floats to the left actually. It has a specific height and it has specific padding and font size, blah, blah, blah. So if you're wondering what something does, check the source code. It's very easy. It's just simple CSS. Okay? And you have it in the resources. Yeah, guys, that's okay, I'm sure like not all of you like the same colors. So let's customize our Bootstrap colors, okay? We're going to keep the spacing here. You see there's like some spacing. These are not from my page. These are from the wall. Okay? It would be cool to put in a page, but it's pretty hard. Okay, so the spacing here, you can get rid of it because the Jumbotron creates some space around it, as we saw. There's some margin. Actually, it only puts margin in the bottom. Yeah, let's customize our pages. Just go to the resources. I have something for you in there. It's the customize link, Bootstrap Live Customizer. Just go there. I'm going to increase the page size so you guys can see it. It's going to take a little bit to load because like it's going to render, it's going to show you like how the theme would look like. You could go to get Bootstrap and generate your own theme, but you don't know the variable names. It's a little bit hard for you. So this is like very useful. It takes a little bit. It's compiling and generating the whole Bootstrap for us. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay, you guys can do this later, okay? Let's not spend too much time on this. But you have the resource, okay? Just go to that page. It's out here, Bootstrap-Live Customizer. It's in the resources. This file is very important. It has a lot of resources, even if you're not doing a workshop. It's useful for you at all times, okay? I'm using it right now. It's really cool, okay? And then there's also the Wagon Bootstrap workshop. They have like another explanation about the grid, and they have like a lot of stuff. It's very useful. All right, let's get our code on CSS Deck. Okay, let's see each other's code. I want to see like your code. Okay, so get on CSS Deck. Oh, this one opened right now. All right, let me show you since it's open. So if you want to customize the navbar, for example, let's see, when hold it, but you know. They usually have a link out here, but it's not appearing probably because the screen is so small. Let's see if this is, yeah, it's not showing. It needs to be smaller. So you would usually drag your mouse over this, and a link would appear on the right-hand side. Drag it over. Yeah. Did it open with you guys? Wallah khalas, you got rid of it. Did it open? drag the link over, and on the right hand side there's a link. It shows you the, so you click on it, it shows you on the right hand side the show related CSS. Do you see it? Yeah? Okay. So if you click on it, it would show you how to customize it on the right hand side. You can specify what you want. And then once you're ready designing your whole theme, you can download it and put it in there. Okay? Instead of having the black stuff and like, so you can customize everything. Okay? Yeah, this is very useful. طيب يلا, let's get rid of this. يلا, CSS deck everybody. Post your code. Okay, copy your HTML, put it in there. Okay. Oops, here it is. Save it and share the links on, let's say, the steps.md. Saving. Okay. Why is it not showing? Okay. Is it saving at you guys? Did you copy it? Did you save it? Did it show you a share link button or something? All right, copy the link and post it on the steps.md. You see the steps.md? All right, post it in there so I can see it. Actually, you can post the link to the full page. Did you view it in a full page? Who posted the code to CSS deck? No? Get on there. Just post the code. Copy HTML and post it in there. Create new. Do you see here? Let's do another CSS deck. I'll zoom in. See the new up there? Just click on it. Okay? You click on new. And then you post the code in here in HTML. See this, the HTML part? Just post the code and then save. You can move this down there so you can like see the, let me just zoom out. Who's not having CSS deck work for them? If there's like a missing tag or something that's not closed, you guys need to indent at all times, like never leave something unindented. Okay, it's going to be very problematic for you as you go forward.
You mean we have to organize our code?
Not the indentation itself, but closing the tags. Like if you're not indenting, it's going to be harder to close the tags. Make sure to save and share the link on the actually steps.md, not the resource. See what you guys have. يلا نشوف شو عندكم. Who submitted to steps? أنا لا بس 1 2 3. Who else? Okay, we have 5. يلا, let's see it. Okay. Who's Sami? Yalla Sami, let's see what you have. Okay. Let's make it a little smaller. Lunch fizza. Okay. Looks good. Okay, yalla, let's see what else we have here. Rami, who's Rami? Okay, let's see what you have. Oh, that's beautiful. Moving GIFs. Okay, where's the photo? It's loading? Let's see where it is. Okay. Okay, it should be here. Oh, here it is. Pumpkin box. Who else? Let's see. All right, so we want the link to this. Let's see it here. Okay, and this is, what's your name? John? Who's John? That's you? Cool. Okay, we have steps. So, who's Rashid? Rashid or Rashid? Rashid. Okay. All right, let's see your page. Let's open the full. You build staff? Are you a recruiter?
I said I have a typo.
Oh, okay, it's typo. Okay. That's cool. All right, so how'd you make it black down there? It looks like you didn't close the nav bar, right? Just make sure, guys, you use some, you always follow the same procedure when you're writing, HTML code. Whenever you open something, close it at first and then write in the middle. Don't just like write it and then write and then remember to close things, okay? You're always going to end up with unclosed tags. This is like horrible. It takes like a lot of time to fix. Who's Joe? That's you. All right, let's see your page. Okay, you have a photo, contact. That's cool. You don't have a button down there, guys. يلا حطوا لي button down there. خلاص? All right, so شفنا هون. Let's see what we're missing in the steps. Resources. Okay, now I'm going to take you through the resources again, because like we used some stuff, and so this way you can move forward by yourself like later on. Okay. What we did today was we did the nav bars. Okay, we did navs. We talked about navs like being different than a nav bar, but a nav bar can extend a nav. We showed you a jumbotron. We created a button. And then we created some rounded image, a circle, not rounded. Rounded creates like a rounded border, which is like about 5 pixels, I guess. But a circle, we did image circles. We used Font Awesome to render those small icons. We didn't customize the theme, but you have a link to it, so you can customize it, change the colors. We talked about the grid system. We'll come back up. And then we demoed. So I'm gonna show you the resources like again, and because like now you know it, more components, so you can like do some other stuff by yourself. Okay, so there's like a lot of interesting components. One would be the glyph icons. If you open up the page, it would be easier for you to browse with me, because like yeah. So the glyph icons are all the icons they have. Just like we used Font Awesome, okay? You can use glyph icon. Do you guys see it? Okay, so these are just like Font Awesome, but these are glyph icons coming with Bootstrap, okay? They have drop downs. We're not going to go through this. Nav bars. Let's scroll quickly. So they have drop downs. These are like, you can like easily copy these and put them in the page. The headers, let's see. Button groups, these are button groups, okay? These are a button toolbar. You can use them for, pagination. Okay. Let's go here. These are the colorings for the buttons. You can use, BTN success would be the green, BTN whatever, okay. So button default would be the blue one. Actually, that's the blue. Primary would be blue, okay. Just scroll through this. Just scroll through it like pretty quickly. We're not reading it. We're just skimming through, so you can see like if you need something in the future, you remember you've seen it in here, okay. So here they create input forms. They have some stuff attached left and right. It's pretty useful if you're creating a form. Checkboxes, radio buttons. Tabs, these are the navs that we talked about. Okay? This is very important. Navs, tabs are part of a nav. They inherit from parent class nav, okay? Okay. Alright, so I think this is pretty much it. You guys can like skim it. Feel free to be in touch. I'll write my email right now in resources. Actually. Okay? So we'll do that should do it. What's this? Okay, it's updating. You guys have my email right now and my Twitter. Okay? All right, cool.